the best books that I read in 2017. So if you guys have seen some of my other book videos, I read a lot of books. And I've been doing this for the past, like since I was a teenager. I actually grew up working in my dad's bookstore, and when I was a teenager in high school, I discovered that you could read non-fiction books. I had always read fantasy, fictional books, but for some reason I was so amazed by the fact that you could find the absolute best person, the greatest expert in any one field, and you could read their book. So you could read all of their best thoughts and ideas that they had about this subject and consume it in a short amount of time. You could learn what it took them many, many years to learn. And as I grew and progressed and developed different interests in my life, I continued to read books in those fields, such as spirituality, meditation, minimalism, whatever it may be. I delved into those subjects by reading from the experts. So in 2017, I actually read 44 new books. I read and reread a number of books, and I also read some books that I stopped halfway through because I didn't think they were very good, but I read 44 new books, and in this video I'm going to go into the best 9 of those. So all 9 of these books are 10 out of 10. They're all non-fiction books, and I highly recommend each one of them. So without further ado, the first one is Letting Go by David R. Hawkins. So David Hawkins, honestly, his books, I've read almost all of them and they're all incredible. And this one is a really good, simple place for people to get started. The whole idea is to let go of the vicissitudes of the human ego. And in this book, he really goes into like the underpinnings of the ego, what it exactly is, and practical tips to let go of anger, judgment, fear, guilt, resentment, how to release these, and really how everything works in that manner as far as the subconscious goes. I really can't recommend this book a lot, and I've been seeing a lot of people reading this book lately, and I think that most people I've encountered lately are interested in letting go. Like, that's a very attractive thing for people right now. So definitely recommend that book. Number 2 is Deep Work by Cal Newport. So I mentioned this book on another video, but Deep Work is a book on productivity. So the whole concept is that there's shallow work, which is multitasking, distracted, and tends to be very low paying. And then you have deep work, which is difficult, sustained, focused, long periods of time, requires a lot of willpower. And that is very high paying and very rare in our society and economy. And so the book is about how to develop and get better at using deep work and how this can secure yourself for financial certainty for the rest of your life and can help you in a variety of different ways. I really can't recommend this book a lot. He hates on social media a lot, but I think it's a good thing to read about that and to see that, and he has some really amazing points. So I think that any young person, anyone that is involved in the internet should definitely check out this book if they want to set themselves up for a successful life. So number 3 is Goodbye Things by Fumio Sasaki. So I mentioned this book on another video on minimalism, and many of the people watching this video probably discovered my YouTube channel through minimalism because it's such a popular subject these days. And Goodbye Things is the story. It's this guy, he's in his late 30s, he lives in Japan, and he's very honest. So he was an alcoholic, had incredibly low self-esteem, lived in total mess. He had to actually break up with his girlfriend because his self-esteem was so low that he felt like he didn't deserve to have a girlfriend. And one day he came across minimalism and decided to really take it on. And it took him 4 years to totally clean out his apartment, but now he's living a beautiful lifestyle, and it totally changed the way that he thought about life, his mindset, positivity, everything. His happiness went through the roof when he went into minimalism. So it's a really cool book if you're interested in minimalism and simplifying your life, but it seems daunting. This is a very simple way to step into it, and there's some amazing new concepts in there. Number 4 is A Man for All Markets by Ed Thorp. So Ed Thorp is a legend. This guy, he actually invented card counting back in like the 50s or 60s for blackjack. He invented a way to predict roulette as well, and also for baccarat. So he's very famous. He's a mathematician, and he taught at universities for a while, and then he went on and started a number of hedge funds and went into investing. So this is his life story, told by him. It's an autobiography, and he's now worth $800 million. He's 85, but if you look at him, he looks like he's like 50, and he is all in all just a very, very good person. And so there's so much truth, so much wisdom in this book. And at the end of it, he gives his best tips for average people, how they can become more financially secure. So I highly enjoyed this book. It came out this year, really recommend it. Number 5 is The One Thing by Gary Keller. So this is a pretty popular book. I see it recommended a lot, and it's a book on time management. So probably the best thing we can do with our time, the best thing we can study, the best thing that we can invest time into is getting better at time management, because we only have one commodity, and that is time. And if we get more effective at using our time in a high quality manner, most of the time, our life by default is going to improve. We'll earn more money, we'll be more successful, be happier, have better relationships if you learn how to handle your time better, develop better willpower. And the whole idea behind this book is to ask yourself one question, a focusing question, which is, if you have your list for what you have to do for the day or what you'd like to accomplish in a month or a year, you look at everything and you say, okay, what is the one thing that I could do on this list that if I did this would make every other item on this list either easier or not necessary? So it's a focusing question to help you understand what is the most important thing you can be doing right now. And it is highly effective. This book is incredible. Gary Keller actually started Keller Williams Realty. He's a super successful dude, and I cannot recommend this book enough. It's a book I'll read again. All these books are books that I'll probably read again. The 6th one is The Lords of Finance by Liaquat Ahamed. So this is an economic history book. So I am actually a closet global economics nerd. So most of the books I read in 2017 were actually global economics books, finance books. And this is a historical book about the Great Depression. And it goes into the central bankers of the United States, Great Britain, Germany, and France. And it is really good, really well done, very long. It won the Pulitzer Prize for History a number of years ago. So I wouldn't recommend this book for someone that isn't really interested in economic history, but if you are interested in economic history, fantastic book, 10 out of 10. Number 7 is The Road to Ruin by Jim Rickards. So this is another global economics book that I think that anyone really should read, because it goes into the current state of affairs that we're experiencing in our economic climate in the world today in 2017. He's extremely knowledgeable. I've read a number of his other books. Currency Wars is one of them. And he's a very, very intelligent dude. And I think that this book is really valuable for anyone trying to understand what's happening in our economy, what's been going on with it since the 2008 recession, and what you can maybe do to set yourself up for financial success in the future and to avoid the prospect of an economic collapse. Number 8 is Master Your Time, Master Your Life by Brian Tracy. So to me, Brian Tracy is the greatest legend of all time. He is really like the best personal development author I've ever come across. I've read, I think, 22 of his books, and he's the best-selling author in time management. And this book is kind of a rehash of all his other books, but he wrote it, I think, in 2017, and it is a very, very good entry-level book if you want to get into time management and learn how to handle your time better. It's really fantastic, cannot recommend it enough. If you're new to time management, read this book and you will not regret it. Number 9 is Hammer by Armand. So Armand, this is my wild card book because I don't think anyone's heard of this book. And it's an autobiography by Armand about his life. He is a very, very interesting guy. He actually was born in like 1920. He inherited his father's company when he was like 20. and 18 or 20. And his dad, the company wasn't that successful, and he ended up making it a multi-million-dollar company by the time he was like 21. So he was a multi-millionaire. He ended up having, I think, family ties with Russia, and this was during like the Bolshevik Revolution. So he ended up going to Russia and securing himself as like the one American that could do business there for an extremely long amount of time. And he ended up starting a pencil factory in Russia. He lived there for like 9 years. He started importing goods from Russia to the United States. He was a businessman. He dealt in fine art. He ended up opening an oil company in his later years, and he was just a hustler. So I really recommend this book as, first off, an entertaining book, but also as a book for someone who wants to create their own life. For someone that wants to forge their own path and to carve their own destiny, create their own career, and be in charge of themselves in their own unique manner. This guy went out and did it, and he basically wrote this book on how he did it, and it's a very rare book. I don't hear it. I was actually recommended to me by this guy in South America, but I don't hear anyone reading this, so that's my secret book for 2017. And yeah, I hope you guys like this video. I have all of the links for these books in the description below, and a lot of people say, how do you read so many books? Like 44 books, that's a lot of books in a year. And my answer that I recommend for everyone is audiobooks, audio learning. Everyone drives a car or walks or bikes or commutes in some manner. And if you simply listen to audiobooks instead of music on your way to and from work, you can read a book a week. This translates to 50 books a year, meaning that you can become highly educated in a number of years just by reading books in your car on the way to work. So in the description below, I actually linked also a promotion for Audible. So that's Amazon's program. You can get 2 free audiobooks. You can get a month of free listening if you sign up with that link below, and you can cancel it after the first month, but it'll be a cool way to get you started in 2018 to start reading more books. Definitely comment below as well with the best books that you read in 2017. And if you're new to the channel, I usually make videos on self-development, minimalism, meditation, and surrendering the ego to God. So if any of those subjects interest you, definitely hit the subscribe button below, and I will see you guys next week. Ciao.